you already know what time it is. What's good, y'all? Soul here, and welcome back to my story mode. So, yes, as you have seen from the title and thumbnail, we are going to be reminiscing a little bit more today, specifically about ARMS. You remember that game? Cause I certainly do. Now, if Nintendo remembers, I think that's the question that we're asking today, because what happened there, man? You guys know me, I enjoy fighting games a lot. I recently got introduced to Rivals 2, which I'm going to be picking up day one and probably doing some kind of coverage on if I can manage it. I would really like to talk more about that game. However, one of the few fighting games that I feel like didn't get talked enough well after its release, like a year or so later, was ARMS, because that game was truly a spectacle. It was extremely creative. It came out at a great time, which was the early life cycle of the Switch, when, you know, it was still like, what, a couple of months old and the Switch still needed some games? Hey, guess what? We already got that planned out with a whole brand new IP with extremely colorful characters and a very creative concept around boxing utilizing super stretchy arms. That was something truly spectacular, dude, because that game, from its first trailer, had me in its clutches. I was ready to get my hands on that game as soon as I possibly could, and the moment they announced the playtests, that was it. I was up way earlier than I should for a high school student back when it was still dropping. I was playing every morning, every night, every Sunday or whatever afternoon. I was playing every playtest I could get my hands on because I wanted to get as used to that game as I possibly could before it dropped, so that I was handing hands to everybody. I was giving them arms, you know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what happened, because the moment the game dropped, I felt like I had a little bit of an advantage, because nobody really stood that much of a chance the first couple of days. After that, everybody started picking it up, and then it got a little bit more challenging. But for the most part, regardless, it was such a good time. I had so much fun utilizing all these different characters that they were dropping for us, all these new different stories and stuff like that, the Grand Prix that they were giving us for each new character, getting used to all of the different hands and customizable arms that I was unlocking. It was so much fun. Like, I just could not believe how hard they cooked with a concept like ARMS, and all of the characters and the style and just the general idea of that world was so much fun to me. Okay, so if there's anybody that loves ARMS, it's this boy right here. I bought that sucker twice just because. Not just because. I sold my original Switch, and I had a physical copy of it or something, and I sold that with it too. I think it was still in the cartridge. Either way, regardless, I love ARMS. I love ARMS to death. I love the concept. I love the characters. And I was one of the, 28 people that was over the moon when Min Min got announced for Smash. Specifically because I predicted it. I knew there was no way in hell anybody else but Min Min was making it in. It just made too much sense. But regardless, I miss ARMS. I miss going on, beating up my friends in a friendly boxing match. There was something so much fun about it. It almost had something of a, it was almost like Nintendo's new Punch-Out, right? Because Punch-Out was so fun, it was so over the top, it was so unnecessary and extreme, and it definitely doesn't hold up as well as you might think it does. The stereotypes in the original Wii version of the most recent version of Punch-Out, I don't know. Me personally, I think they definitely went over the top with the stereotypes, but regardless, it felt like we had something new, a new, true, fun, unique online multiplayer boxing game from Nintendo that could absolutely have lasted as way longer than it did, because that game, I feel like it just kind of went out the window way too fast for a lot of people, and I can tell you specifically why. You have to remember, ARMS came out within the first year of the Nintendo Switch, and this was, right after Nintendo's blunder with the Wii U. So if there was one thing that they were gonna do, was fix their mistake from last time, and they were going to give us some damn games, and they were gonna make damn sure of it too. So that first year, they cooked up with so many games in that first year, we didn't know what to do with ourselves. We got overwhelmed. Can you believe that Super Mario Odyssey was a year one game for the Switch? Because I certainly can't. Same with Breath of the Wild, that was a day one. But ARMS only came out a couple of months after the Switch released, and that was one of the ones that they were pushing the hardest. When I was looking at that Nintendo Switch presentation, that's one of the main things that I was focused on, was ARMS. I was so ready to get my hands on that. But something I didn't realize was how dangerous of a spot that it was in at the time. right? They were giving us games to play during the summer and things like that, and I was excited for a lot of them. One of the primary ones being ARMS. But unfortunately, within that same summer, we got Splatoon 2. Now, here's my thing, right? By no means do I think that ARMS was any form of a failure. It was like, it sold like 3 mil or almost 3 million copies within that year. It did pretty good for itself. It held up, it had a lot of good updates, it had a lot of awesome characters. I don't remember if the DLC was paid for. I don't believe it was, as a matter of fact. I think it was all free DLC, which was really, really cool because they introduced a lot of unique characters and things like that throughout the year that they were consistently updating it. Up until the very end with Dr. whatever her name was, green hair, the bad, you know what I'm saying? Maybe I'll bleep that or something, I don't know, that's insane. But either way, they gave us a lot of good content. However, it felt like it got a little overshadowed because the moment Splatoon 2 came out, everybody forgot about ARMS. Everyone, because that, you have to remember, is one of Nintendo's biggest new IPs. In Japan, Splatoon popped off so freaking hard. It was absolutely ridiculous. So, and this is on the Wii U, mind you. This came out on a basically dead console, and it was still one of the most successful games on that console. So for them to actually bring that IP over to the Switch and get even more people invested through Splatoon 2, that was it. That was their moneymaker for their online gaming. That was their multiplayer bread and butter. Okay, so then you have ARMS, which was leaning more towards the fighting side of things, but they clearly weren't too worried about that because after a couple of updates, they were just like, all right, see you later, thanks. What? Okay, now again, this was during its first year. It was still going okay even after the release of Splatoon 2, but it definitely felt like there was a very hefty drop-off after Splatoon 2 came out. Maybe that's not exactly the case, maybe that's not what happened at all, but it certainly felt like it because I'm definitely a culprit of that. I was super invested in ARMS, and then I picked up Splatoon 2, and I grinded that forever. Me and my boys were playing that almost every day, or at least every other day, and I was like, oh yeah, you guys want to play some ARMS? They're like, oh yeah, that game was fire. And we hopped back in, we played some more ARMS, checked out the DLC characters, and then we would come back every couple of months or so. Every time they would drop a new DLC character, I would run through the Grand Prix, yada yada yada. We wouldn't think too much of it. But after a while, it just disappeared. We just didn't even think about it. And since then, Splatoon has had another full sequel on the Switch before ARMS got anything else in terms of acknowledgement, in terms of DLC, in terms of anything else other than Min Min's inclusion in Smash, which didn't even do all that much to revive ARMS as an IP. Which is insane because you would think if there's anything that's going to revive an IP or get people more interested in an IP, it's the inclusion of one of their characters in Smash Ultimate. But that didn't happen. Nothing hefty came out of that inclusion. They just showed up with Min Min, said, here you go. ARMS is still available, by the way. Go check it out. And everybody's like, no, we're good. We'll play with Min Min and then we'll go back to our own thing. What was that, like 2022? I don't even remember. It was so long ago. She was the beginning of the second Fighter's Pass. It's crazy. That's crazy. Regardless, I really miss ARMS. I really, really do. I think it was one of the most creative things Nintendo has ever allowed a new IP to do, and it really did feel like it had more going for it. I could have easily seen a lot more updates, a lot more characters. Hell, they could have added additional skins or something like that to really change things up a little bit, some more cosmetics and stuff like that, more unique gloves and things like that to equip during matches, more unique characters and Grand Prix to play around with. I feel like that game had a lot of potential to go much further than it did, but it must have been the dwindling player base that made them be like, all right, you know what? Let's cut this off here. Let's wrap it up. Because it only lasted like, what, a year before they cut it off completely? We got Max Brass, we got Springtron, we got the Doctor, and that was kind of it in terms of DLC. Oh, and we got Lollipop. Okay, Lollipop did something much more dangerous. She did much more damage than beneficial work for the game, but I'm not even going to get into that. The point is, only after about maybe a year or so of extra development, I feel like that game just didn't go anywhere else. And it's very strange to me that it feels like Nintendo never really mentions it, doesn't really give any kind of deals on it or anything like that. It's still full price on eShop, but you'll never see Nintendo even bring it up. And that's super, super interesting to me. Okay, now of course this was an inevitable part of the conversation, but we do have the Switch 2 coming out probably some point next year. Probably maybe early next year, maybe mid next year, maybe late next year. I don't know. Based on the release date for Pokemon Legends EA, I can't imagine they're going to try and wait that long to release the console to us. Maybe it'll be early like they did in March for the Switch 1. Maybe it'll be like more closer to summertime or something like that to give kids something to play while they're, you know, waiting on the holiday games and stuff like that. Who knows? Regardless, we have a brand new console coming out. It's most likely going to be stronger. It's most likely going to be able to give us, you know, a lot of backwards compatibility and stuff like that. However, like I said, Nintendo has more than learned their lesson when it comes to the Wii U. And that's, if you're gonna give us a console, give us a console that has games on it, man. More interesting games, more games that are unique, more games that we want to play consistently. And if you're gonna give us an online service, you better make sure we're damn well ready to use it. And if there's anything that's gonna help manipulate that market, it's absolutely gonna be multiplayer games like Splatoon, and I'm just putting it out there, ARMS. So maybe, just maybe, there could possibly be something in the works for ARMS. It's just hard to believe that, or even get myself to even truly conceive that idea when they've said nothing about the franchise, nothing about the series, not even so much as a meme or something on their page. They could have easily dropped a little joke here and there about ARMS or whatever, but it's just been completely silent in terms of that IP, and that really, really sucks to me. So maybe this is just me coping or something like that, but I really do hope that they actually do have something in store for that IP when the Switch 2 comes out, because I would love, love, love to see a true revival of ARMS with an ARMS 2, with some new characters, some new arms to utilize, you know, more utilities to utilize, more customization and things like that. I want to see what they cook up, because that is just such an exciting concept that has so much potential to flourish even more as one of Nintendo's just big, mega, massive fighting games that could potentially, if done correctly and monetized and marketed properly, could rival something like, maybe not rival, it's gonna be really hard to rival the big boys, but at least, you know, something that would be considered for Evo, like Dragon Ball FighterZ or Street Fighter or Tekken or Guilty Gear or something. Just something of that caliber. Just something. Because I feel like ARMS deserves so much more than it got, and I really, really, really hope that we see it again. Because man, do I love those characters. Goodness, they're so much fun, and they're so funny, and you could see in every little miniature piece of media that they're in, they have so much personality. You're telling me we can't even get little comic book stories or something like that? Dude, maybe pull an Overwatch or something, or one of the gacha games where when they introduce a character, you get like these little YouTube shorts of animations that tell us a little bit more about the character, because if there's any way to get us invested in stuff like that, it's gonna be through that. Like, just something. I want to learn more about these characters' histories. I want to learn about their families. I want to learn about their upbringings. I want to learn why they got into the competition of ARMS, you know? I want to see what's up with that, because it's just such an interesting little world. They can't just drop it now. I just truly refuse to believe that they can drop it now. I don't think they're going to do that. And it's almost like I'm begging for a new one now, because this game desperately needs a little bit more of a revival, considering the fact that I can go online and wait up to like 15 to 20 minutes to get a ranked match. I can't even, nobody's playing anymore. Like, what happened? Oh my goodness, it's so sad to see that. I can't believe how long it takes me to get a regular match. Like, you could go in and have, you know, fun doing the little mini game stuff with people and stuff like that, the few people that are playing every now and again. But when I want to focus solely on fighting, I can't do that, because not that many people or anybody is playing ranked like that anymore. So what happened? I was playing just the other day, like at the time of this recording, last night, and I was having a good time just warming back up. You know, you could tell throughout the gameplay that I'm definitely struggling at first, but once I get my handle on it, I'm having a good time. I'm having a blast, just whooping some ass with Twin Tail and things like that. And then all of a sudden, nothing. I can't get another match to save my life, and that That was strange to me, because where did everybody go? There's no way. Maybe I was too low in rank? I don't know. I don't think something like that should happen. But I don't know. Maybe I'm insane. Maybe everybody's just moved on from ARMS and I'm just here twiddling my thumbs, just hoping and praying for something that is already dead to come back, because I'm an old head and I can't let go of things. I have such trouble letting go of things, but maybe that's just a me problem. But I don't know. Regardless, I think I've made it pretty clear that I'm there and down day one for an ARMS 2. If Nintendo, if you decide to do something like that, I'm there for you. I promise you. I will be right there for you, man. I promise. But I'll leave that up to y'all, because, hey, maybe that's just me. So that just about wraps it up for this one. I was really missing ARMS, and I figured, hey, you know what? I still got it on my system. Let's talk about it a little bit, because I haven't seen anybody even consider thinking about this game in the past couple of years. So let's just chit chat about it. And also because I want to get more frequent again. I've been slacking hard. I want to get more frequent. Maybe this upcoming week you'll see daily uploads. We'll see. One way or another, we're getting back on track. And if you guys would do me a great favor, I just recently put out my full playthrough for Five Nights at Freddy's Into the Pit. I think that you guys would enjoy that. It was a lot of fun to do. I would love to do more projects like that one. Maybe more in parts as opposed to just one ginormous Let's Play, because that's kind of hard to put together and, you know, it takes a long time. That's why it's already months late. You know, but regardless, I would love it if you guys would check that out. And if you guys enjoy it, please let me know so that I can do more stuff like that for you guys. Let me know whatever you guys want me to play. We'll check it out, but we'll play that one by ear. But for now, the topic at hand is kaput. So I'm going ahead and I'm passing the mic over to you guys so you guys can tell me everything you guys are thinking in the comment section below. Do you think that I'm crazy? Do you think that I need to let go? It's time to move on. It needs to die and just spread its wings and go to another universe, and ARMS is not coming back and I shouldn't need to worry about it? Or do you think that I'm onto something? ARMS truly was something really creative and we could potentially see something for it on the Switch too. Tell me everything that you guys are thinking in the comment section below, because you know for a fact that I am always going to be down there with you guys. But with that, it does appear to be skedaddle o'clock. So I'm gonna go ahead and do just so. I'd like to thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do me the greatest favor of dropping a like and a comment, and consider subscribing for more content just like this here. And with that, I'm gone. Thanks again, hope you enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Do me the greatest favor of taking good ass care, and I'll see you all next time.